I mean,
wake me up.
No,
Save it.
I understand. I think they get it. That one will never not be a jam. That's one of the few karaoke songs I feel like every single person gets behind. And even like I said, like I have an edit of it that I play when I'm DJing sometimes that goes into the most like ridiculous dubstep drop. And every single time I play it, people are like, eh.
Is that good or bad?
No, that's good. That's good. You know, when people are excited and they're like, ah.
No, I didn't. Are they scared?
Yeah, no, that might sound more like
a Death Eater take their soul.
Might sound like more of like a plea for help than anything.
I just envisioned what is the painting from whatever Salvador Dali where it's like the screaming face.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just like that. Yeah. See, but how do you know that guy wasn't excited that the DJ just put his song on?
That guy was not.
The
excited.
Salvador DJ just put his song on or something. Are we live? Oh, we're almost
live.
DJ
Dali.
2, 1. Welcome to
ASMR
with Jandro and Dopio.
ASMR
Welcome to
show.
The pregame show. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. Welcome to the pregame, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 2, and we're so excited. 2, man.
Feels like just the other day we did 1.
It was just it was literally 2 days ago.
Time flies, man.
It's crazy how 48 hours go by. In case you didn't watch the ass episode, we're already off to a great start here.
Oh yeah.
In case you didn't watch the last episode, I'm DJ Jandro from G&V Entertainment. Got my buddy here, DJ Dopio,
also in the mix.
Today in the podcast. And we want to start this thing just to kind of shoot the shit before we get off to work. Today is Saturday. What's today? June 30th?
June? Dude, this
June
is a
30th,
bad...
James.
We just got to restart.
Dude, we have to
restart the whole thing.
Man, it's been a long day. This is my
Run
first...
Run it back.
I don't know if we're going to run it back. That's part of the joy. We can't run it back because that's the whole point of this podcast is we are live before we get to work. Pre-gaming of some sort. I'm drinking coffee in my cup. I know everyone's going to think like, damn, Jandro is messed up right now thinking we're in June, but no,
he's sipping on lean. That's his lean cup. He's sipping on dirty Sprite.
That's the ASMR right there. That perfect lean sip at the beginning of the rap songs.
Yeah, man. The jingle of the ice.
Yeah, give me a little ice crinkle. Oh, there you go. See? That's for
you got a slurp.
That's for our audio only listeners.
That's for the Patreon.
No rap song is complete without the perfect lean sip, as we all know. No, so we're getting off to work here pretty soon. I actually got to put the timer so we know when we're getting ready to go. And we just wanted to get together with you guys, shoot some DJ topics back and forth. Last week we spoke about how we became DJs, so that was pretty cool. Obviously, you got to remember where you come from to better know where you're going. That's super important.
These streets we're never gonna forget.
These streets we're never gonna forget. University Ave and Main Street, Gainesville.
Dude, P Park.
I don't know what that is.
Pinellas Park. That's where I grew up in that area. I grew up in Larghetto, is what we used to call it.
What's
Largo, Florida?
Oh, Larghetto.
Yeah, I call it Larghetto.
We used to call Palmetto, Florida, which is right by where I lived, Palm Ghetto. So there's lots of
comparable, unoriginal kids. Yeah,
bro, man, we got to get into it. Look, it's already all right. Time. So today, what do we want to talk about today? I already forgot.
We were discussing our little niches that if you were, they always say if you put a bunch of chimpanzees at a typewriter, eventually they're just gonna hammer out a Shakespeare.
Okay.
Eventually,
sure.
If we were,
they do say that.
Same with DJs. So for us specifically, if we were just gonna hammer out hours upon hours of sets, what is that genre or like kind of musical niche that we always kind of are honing in on, just because it's our bread and butter.
What is our favorite genre to DJ, or maybe what is our bread and butter? So cool topic. Obviously, you guys hear us play all sorts of different things, but it's important to know, I guess, where each DJ lands on their own style of music and kind of how they form between all the different genres.
Last time we were discussing a really common question we get is, how are you get into DJing, or
that's
can I be DJ?
I mean, that's what the whole last episode
but I'm saying. So, but to build upon that, another question that we get asked all the time is, what kind of music do you play? And it's just it's not a question you can really answer, because it depends on like where you're at. That's my question. I always answer. It depends on where I'm DJing.
Yeah, well,
you gotta tell me where I'm at.
And it depends on. I mean, not even
what kind of music
where
do you
you're.
spin?
No, it's
Who's
not
in
even
front of me.
Yeah, it's not even.
I'm not playing dubstep at the wedding.
I mean, it depends what kind of wedding, right?
That's true.
Depends what kind of wedding. Your wedding, we slipped a
that
little
rave
fun,
wedding coming up.
Fun stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it depends on a lot, right? Because it's not even only just where you are or necessarily what kind of crowd is going, but also what the event calls for and what time of the evening even it is. Because like one thing that kills me when a lot of and you can tell kind of inexperienced DJs when it's earlier in the night and maybe there's not too many people there, and I know the viewers out there, you've maybe experienced this
And they're
in the
just
club.
slamming Excision.
They're just slamming it, absolutely just going way too hard. So it's important to like kind of read the room, you know, and even more just than what are.
It reminded me of that song. It's like, give me some room, I'm throwing elbows.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like 5 people in the club.
That ridiculous.
5 people in the club.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, less about even what our favorite genres of music are and more kind of how do we decide what kind of music we're going to be playing in that. I think that's probably a better topic, actually. You know,
it can be both. Why not both?
Well, because I mean, if we're just saying our favorite, a lot of the times we don't even get to decide as DJs. We're just glorified jukeboxes,
That's not true.
you know. Well, but we're just glorified jukeboxes. No, I'm just playing.
Like for instance, because I mean, there's also there's tools too. You can utilize any kind of thing. So like, you've self-admitted that you are always like kind of getting into a Moombahton kind of vibe, and that's
I went through a phase for sure.
For me, like I would say, other than like the classic songs you're gonna play all the time, like Get Low Lil Jon, that's like 102 BPM, like they're humping right around that 100 to 110 BPM thing is for a lot of people like a weird spot. 100 to 120, like transitioning from there to there is like kind of clunky for some people, and like that if you do like that type of style of the music, that's right around that same speed. If you have no idea what we're talking about with BPM, it just kind of has to do with like the rhythm and how fast the song is perceived in your brain. And it's just it's a good tool, stepping stone to like get from one area to another area. And if you're just normally well versed in that area, that's one objective that you don't have to worry about, and it's just kind of in there. So that's a good thing for you. For me myself, I thoroughly enjoy challenging myself and just thinking of like not necessarily what's a bad song, but like what's a song that you would not expect me to play next, and then can I play it, and then can I effectively navigate into like an actual banger or something that you'd think would be heard in the club.
Your stereotypical type of banger.
Something like, all right, I always got to play like the one song that's like a hit right now.
Yeah. And I think even kind of for me, where I developed a lot of the ability to do this was in the private event scene. And that's why one of the things I preach for, especially like newer DJs, it kind of, everyone wants to be in the club and everyone wants to be playing EDM. And I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. Everyone wants to be playing EDM and playing that type of music that they love, and especially, you know, us as DJs, that high energy kind of glory scene of headlining a music festival and all that is what we're all going for. But it's important that you got to kind of learn the fundamentals and stuff first, and that's why I always preach so hard to new DJs that are getting into the game, like find these private events, find weddings, proms. When I got started, that's how you got started
DJ
too.
in an area that has a multitude of age brackets.
Yeah,
so you can't just play whatever EDM. What's going on with your colors right now? That's it.
I think it's because the
it's the light.
Yeah,
outside.
it's the light behind me. Actually, hold on. Echo, office lights off. This podcast is not sponsored by Amazon in any way. I just happen to have an Echo here.
That's just the assistant. Her name's Echo. Exactly. He just yells at her. This is the tyrant podcast owner, Alex here.
Alexa was taken, so I had to figure something else out. What was I talking? So private events. So, you know, when you're doing weddings and like you said, events where there's a multitude of ages in the room, you really get the chance.
You might set off their
learn.
life alert if you're playing dubstep the whole night.
Oh my gosh.
You never know, man.
Yeah, I don't know, but
some heart palpitations.
You get the chance to kind of learn what works from all different decades and everything. And then when you're in that club setting, like you said, I mean, there's times where literally DJ Dopio will drop like Dancing Queen in the middle of a set and everybody goes crazy. And that's not something typically you would expect, of course, but it's important to know what songs really work and what songs are kind of universal like that, even though it's something you wouldn't expect, so that you can utilize it in your DJs and club sets. And at least to me, that's kind of what really sets apart a lot of DJs is gives you that extra edge.
And that's what you were saying with like not necessarily amateur is a bad word because that almost sounds condescending.
No, not amateur.
No, lack of experience or lack of exposure to just different like multitude of environments or dance floors. And by dance floor I mean like the people in it, not the physical place of just experiencing it and like watching, because the dance floor at the end of the day is kind of like a living creature. It's like a breathing, and you can watch it. It's flowing. There's tension. You're releasing tension. It's all, it's playing Jenga.
That's interesting.
And you're trying to keep it going. You're taking out a song, you're putting it on the top, and you're watching how it kind of maneuvers and manipulates. And you're gonna play the next song, but you go like, oh, I'm gonna pull it over here. I'm gonna play this song, but you don't want it to topple off. You don't want to kill the whole vibe, but you got to build it on top. So it's all an ebb and flow of keeping a dance floor energy going. And that's where I was saying I like to play unconventional songs necessarily to throw it in there and see. It's challenging to myself, and that's how it keeps me. It's always fun and exciting to me too, because I'm like, all right. I was just telling you before we got on the podcast, for the very first time ever in my DJing set last night, I played Proud Mary by Tina Turner, and it was just, I'd never thought I would have played that, but it just, the group of people that were out there on the dance floor dancing, I just kind of felt that it was going to work. And at first they were confused, because right in the middle of that song, if you're not familiar, it goes and then it speeds up, like, and they're fucking doing the dance, and they're singing it, and I never would have thought I would have played that in a club. That would not have been on my, like, what are the songs you're gonna hear tonight.
And it's you know, you got to be careful too, obviously, because that's where knowing the audience, and DJ Dopio is throwing my coasters. Every episode we're having issues with the coaster, because last episode, if you remember, we weren't using them, and then now you don't know how to use a coaster. So we're just struggling today, but that's okay.
Fun
that's
fact,
okay we're struggling.
I had an ex. It is still my ex. She had this
Sorry, Laura.
This weird thing. That's fine. She had this thing where you'd go out to like a restaurant, and you know, they give you the napkin, and then they put your drink on the napkin. She would like insistently, right off the bat, like OCD wise, like grab the salt and salt the napkin.
Yeah, because it keeps
put
it
her
not.
Cup on. Yeah, but man, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, see, you're making fun of this, but you literally just had that issue right now.
So I'm not going to salt your table.
Okay, you salt the coaster. Actually, I would be upset if I
salted in the podcast studio. I'm not. Yeah, but anyway, it's just it made me.
But it would have solved your issue. It would have solved your issue for sure.
It's just unnecessary.
So, what were we talking about? Like unique music and unique song choice and everything, and why it's so important. So at least for me, it's like rock and roll music is kind of my, I would say, niche for that. And I grew up, like I said in the last podcast, like I grew up playing guitar initially is how I got into music, and I was especially into a lot of hard rock and a lot of like blues rock sort of things. And DJ Dopio is checking his phone right now.
Oh, you're good. You can't see it on the camera.
Because apparently, yeah, I'm not. He doesn't want to know about my favorite music. That's okay.
It's fine. He likes diamonds.
Diamond.
Yeah, hard rock.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey-o.
Something like that. Where was I? So yeah, I got into the whole like blues rock thing, and even now, you know, DJ Dopio makes fun of me sometimes, but like even now you'll hear Metallica come out, or some like old school, I guess not old school, but like 2000s rock, maybe some Chili Peppers or some of the more scene kind of you know, Killers, Mr. Brightside, all those things. And it's always so fun to see people's reaction to hearing something, especially like with our age group, you know, 25, maybe a little younger, 21-ish, like all of those kind of songs, those hard rock anthems, like Sugar We're Going Down Swinging, for example, even some like A Day to Remember and all that. It gets people going because it gives them that nostalgia, right? So it's really
angsty
cool.
Teenager.
Yeah, the kind of angsty teenager feeling, which
it's
is
not a phase, Mom. You don't understand.
The Good Charlotte phase, red jumpsuit apparatus.
I want my eyebrow pierced. This is who I am now.
All that stuff, yeah. So it's cool to be able to play something and give someone like that moment of nostalgia, you know, where for me, I remember I used to be really into Warped Tour, and I used to go every single year, and like when I'm playing these things, it kind of takes me back there. So it's cool to see that work you know, uniquely, and because it's something I love so much, it's something I love to play and kind of have that connection with the crowd there, because you know, being a DJ is all about forming that connection with the crowd and how you can continue to do that.
Personal 2-minute time capsule with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, usually even less than 2 minutes, because that's part of the exciting part.
I Heart Boobies bracelet, putting it on while they're in the dance floor.
Exactly. So I think, you know, that's kind of what it is with me. And I think in watching you DJ too, it's unique that you do it on the opposite end, because I see you play some like early 2000s rap songs and even into your 2010s that were big hits that people love, but just not something that a lot of people think to play, and a lot of other DJs at least would think to play. So I think it's really cool to see, again, like you unite with the crowd on that sense of nostalgia. Just it's two entirely different genres of music
you
that
can
we're
see
working
in their eyes, and they're like, man, I haven't heard this song in forever.
Yeah,
and it's just like watching that little glimmer in their eyes. You're like,
yeah,
taking you back.
No, exactly. So, just kind of being able. So on that note, actually, which another thing I think is interesting we're talking about is like forming the connection with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both use nostalgia as a tool to do that,
often,
right? And I
often.
think for especially, I want to keep it like
the majority of my sets are like very heavily
very
throwback music
nostalgic.
influenced.
Yeah, with some the new stuff, but we definitely want to keep this podcast too, by the way, like super informative for new DJs. The reason kind of we both do what we do, and especially G&V Entertainment came to be, was as a platform for DJs to advance their career, hold themselves to the highest standard, be the best they can be, and that's kind of the best thing that is our hashtag and we use all the time. So really just keeping as a piece of advice kind of for new DJs and everything coming out is, like I said, just learn. Yeah, I don't know if they could
in
see
the wide angle.
In the wide angle with the little reflectiveness.
My best Vanna White impression.
And you can definitely kind of speak on this a little bit too, but just like learn all different types of music, because like we're talking about, there's, even if you are younger and you're playing a younger crowd, like there'll be people in the club who are maybe 18, 19 years old who weren't even alive when some of these songs came out, but still you play them and they're singing right along and they're hanging it. So if you're able to play in a way that brings all kinds of people together, then I think that's what you want to do. So that would be kind of specifically like talking about music choices and learning all different music. That would be my advice to new DJs.
Yeah, there was I remember vividly when I started my DJing entertaining career down in the South Florida area. And some of the places down in the Miami scene that I would DJ at, I didn't really know much. To me, Spanish music back then was just Pitbull. That was all I knew of, like, in regards to Spanish music.
I mean, that is Spanish music.
Well, no, but that was it. That's where it
Spanish
started,
music,
and it also stopped. Yeah. I didn't know anything when I was younger. But outside of just Spanish music specifically, like Jamaican and like dance hall and music like that, like I knew like Sean Paul. I knew like that was like reggae to me, but. There was a lot of like older, like 40-ish-year-old like Jamaican guys that would come out to some of these bars that I would do karaoke at, and they would ask for songs, and I'd be like, "What is this?" And or like older, like old 90s, like Mad Cobra, and he'd be like, "Flex, time to undress," and it was like love making dance hall songs, but it was like, dang, these songs are great, and then I kind of got a neck for it and I was learning it. And then in other events, if I noticed that there was like Caribbean people out there, I learned these songs and I started to like them. So I would throw in something, and just the look of excitement on their face when they would like look at me and they're like, "What does this white boy know about this music?"
Yeah.
And it was to share that experience with them was just always such a fun thing. And it was just, they would never have expected me to play that music. And I wouldn't have diversified my musical like knowledge if I wasn't open to it. And like we're saying, always checking out. If you don't necessarily know the music, doesn't mean it's not good. You got to have a library for everything. You have to be able to play music to whoever's in front of you.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is that there's going to be people in the room that you're DJing to that are very different from who you are as a person, or very different from your musical taste, and so you have to be versatile enough to be able to appeal to all kind of people, right?
Yeah.
Because if you are only playing one genre of music, or you're not able to kind of flow in and out of ways to connect with the crowd, because we're talking about nostalgia, using also like being able to use people's like culture in a way too, because with Spanish people too, it's the same thing, right? It's like, I'm Latino myself, right? Half Cuban, half Colombian, and some of the songs from my childhood, which were such big bangers, your Oscar de Leon and other Grupo Nietzsche and some of these other things like this, like I've been playing sets in American club and happen to notice that there just happens to be a lot of Latina people there. And
I mean Latinx,
Latin X, I guess we're using now.
I was just kidding. Let's not even get into that.
There's a lot of Latin X people there, I guess. And because of, again, I know this is how I want to connect with the crowd, and it's nostalgic and it's a cultural thing. Like, slip that in there in any other set, and here you go. They're having a great time and kind of dancing along. So we're getting close on time for sure. So I want to keep this, two things. One, obviously, educational and informative for new DJs who want to learn, obviously, what it is to be a DJ and how to advance. So I kind of slipped in my piece of advice, I guess, regarding music and learning all sorts of things. But just if you could kind of sum it up, I guess, for your piece of advice for new and upcoming DJs as well, specifically regarding finding new types of music, maybe even like methods you go about doing that. I'm sure they'd love it. So,
with methods, it depends on like where it is you're learning music from. So what I was used to do is, and this isn't no insider secret or anything, but like just we were just talking about with DJ Beanard yesterday about it. But like he doesn't have a Spotify account.
DJ Beanard.
And we're like, Spotify? You don't have Spotify? Yeah. And he was like, no. And we're like, how do you listen to music? Like, what do you? Because every Friday for the longest time, it was like homework. I felt like it was a necessity just to listen to the New Music Friday. Every single Friday they have a playlist called New Music Friday. And even though recently there hasn't really been a lot of great music in my opinion, but it was like almost like my little homework for the week to listen to the 2 or 3 hours.
Well, and
then like
just as a side note, so hold on, just as a side note is the reason too there hasn't been a lot of new music coming out recently is like a lot of with the COVID and supply chains happened too. So that's that's just a whole nother even episode topic. Interestingly enough.
Yeah,
because I'm fascinated by that
I
stuff.
always just try to listen to it, and then like because let's say I may not have heard of this new person that came out, because it's quite honestly, especially with like the rap music, there's like these rappers' names are like so hard to keep up with. It's like three random keyboard letters, and then like three numbers and a made up word.
Yeah.
So the guy we were trying to talk about a lot yesterday, it was like YNB Namir or whatever, or NBA or whatever it is. There's just like 3 arbitrary made up letters and then like a word, like a Greek word. But that's just an example of like, it's kind of hard to keep up with the people's names. I don't recognize them, but I'll listen to the 2 or 3 hours or whatever, and then maybe out of that 3 hours, I find 2 songs that I'm like, okay, this is club worthy. I can play this. But it's just, you have to be always eager and open to listening to new stuff.
You're always listening to music too. Is the thing is like you are a person especially who is, whether you're in your car, like whether you usually are listening to music is what I've noticed.
Music or like a podcast
or like
something.
A podcast.
I'm listening to audio of some form. Yeah,
for sure. So also
except for when I'm leaving DJing. Silence.
And then it's got to be silence. As soon as you get in your car after the club, that silence is golden for sure. But I think just kind of something you do is like you make it part of your life.
Yeah.
And DJing, we talked about, it's your career now. We're spending 20-30 hours a week doing this. Like you've made that part of your life, and a big part of it, obviously, I mean, all of it almost is the music. And I would even say the music is a bigger point than the technical side a lot of times.
Yeah,
the music choice, for sure. So just making that music and finding new music and really the pursuit of the love of music, which is why we all get into this and finding all different genres, even if it's something that you might not like. Perfect example, like I don't like country music. You wouldn't catch me dead listening to it, but I was DJing.
Them is fighting words.
Yeah,
boy.
I know. Jesse loves it.
Boy.
Right? And we DJ all the same places, which is funny. See, it's another difference. But I don't like country music very much. But I was DJing at Grog House the other night, and someone came up and asked for Country Girl Shake It For Me, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And sure enough, everyone's singing along, dancing and jumping up and boot stomping and all that. And then I immediately switched out to like
a catfish swimming down deep in the creek.
Yeah, something like that. But I immediately switched out to like some kind of, I forget what,
hard rock
rap song. No, some kind of rap song or something. But case in point, even if it's music you don't like, there are opportunities there to connect with people in that crowd who, so you got to just be looking for everything. And I think like you do, make it part of your life.
The main thing is to not you can't be complacent. Yeah. That's the issue. It's like don't I mean,
well, that's in life, right?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Don't be complacent.
But with the music and stuff, there's always, even if I was saying like it seemingly is like there's not really any good music in my opinion recently, but there's still some. It's not there's that because that's a generalization, of course, but there's you're gonna find something. Just keep looking, and then you're always able to adaptively morph your sets. And then some people like seem to be like, oh, whenever I play this song, I just seem to always subconsciously transition into this song or something.
For sure.
And like that's maybe if you had a couple other songs that were right around that same speed, BPM or whatever, like you'd have more options, and you wouldn't necessarily fall into that pitfall. And then you wouldn't necessarily have those songs if you didn't listen to music, if you didn't discover it, if you didn't find it. Another thing we say is like listening to other DJs. Like we love listening to each other because we will hear songs and like, or it's insightful. You're learning from other people, and it's just you can always improve yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still, to this day, right? We've been DJing together for years, and I still, to this day, every single time you play, I'm picking up something. And same thing goes for DJ Beanard and Rio and, now DJ Mike, who's the newest guy on the team here. Like every time I'm listening to someone, I'm trying to learn something. And it's not even necessarily about like specific songs or something, but just generally seeing how they're vibing and how they're carrying energy through their set and all that, which is so important. So I think really good advice there for sure. Hopefully, if you're listening in and you are an up and coming DJ, like learn all sorts of music. And of course, check us out. GMV Entertainment, always willing to help y'all out as well. So we're getting up on 30 minutes. We said we wanted to keep this 30 minutes. So
yeah.
We're recording this. It's Saturday, June again with
January.
June. What is up? I'm 6 months ahead. It's because of COVID last year. Just screwed with my sense of timing and everything. So it's January 30th. Today is the day we're recording. We're probably going to post this on Monday. So we want to make sure we give you guys a chance to know what's up for the rest of the week and where we're going to be. So Tuesday night is our trivia night, Trivia Tuesday. So we'll be over at the Keys starting at 7 p.m. doing team trivia. That's a lot of fun. DJ Dopio will be hosting that himself as well. So come see what he knows and what you know. All that's a good time. And then Wednesday is a big one for us. We got 2 awesome events going on. So we'll be over at the Social doing karaoke starting at 10 p.m., which is awesome. DJ Dopio also will be hosting that one. And then Ladies Night also starting at 9 p.m. over at Grog House right next door, which is about the best place to be. I'm super excited. I'm going to be at Grog House tonight too. But so make sure you come on by for that. Thursday is another big one for us. One of our favorite days of the week, and I'm going to have the video pop on screen for you guys, but Throwback Thursday. So we were talking about, all kinds of different music today. Not only throwbacks, but just giving you guys that sense of nostalgia as well. We got awesome shirts made, which we're going to be doing a giveaway too. So we'll do a separate post for that. Make sure you stay on the lookout for that. And Jesse was wearing one last week too. So check out the last episode.
One of the tank tops,
yeah, check out the last episode for how it fits, and also for
for
DJ Dopio's nip slip that went on. So that's Thursday. Friday and Saturday we're still working out the DJ schedule. We'll definitely be at White Buff both nights and over at the Social in Midtown as well both nights. So stay tuned to the Instagram, which will also pop up on the screen, and you'll know where we all are. So thank y'all so much for tuning in again. Listen, I feel like the topic changed like 3 times in the episode, but that's the beauty of it. Whatever it is, to talk some kind of music topic with us.
DJ brain, man.
I guess whatever we end up deciding to call
like
this
talking
episode.
Jukeboxes.
Yeah. Glorified jukeboxes, man. I told you. So, hey, cheers, brother, for the pregame. Again, pregaming with non-alcohol.
Caffeine
just with coffee.
before the alcohol.
Caffeine.
That's my life. My life has a balance, a teetering slide of alcohol.
Caffeine and alcohol.
Man.
That's good. That's the DJ life for you, I guess. So, cheers, y'all. We'll see you next week on the pregame.
Peace.